Tribe, welcome to All Things Conscious podcast. This is a sacred space where we explore the journey of spiritual growth, collective healing, and living consciously in a world that often tries to rile us. I'm your host, Shauna Ronke. Hey everyone, welcome to All Things Conscious podcast. This is our bonus content, and today we're talking about the journey to embodiment. We're going to discuss what embodiment really is, the 4 stages of embodiment practice, and I've created this beautiful visual for you so you can screenshot it and take it with you wherever you go. You can refer back to it anytime. And my co-host today is Claude AI. Welcome back, Claude.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about embodiment because it's a word people use a lot, but there's a real difference between using the word and actually living it.
You're right. And here's the thing, for me, healing is a lifestyle. It's not something I do when I'm on camera or at social gatherings. It's something I live every single day. It's my everyday practice, and that's what embodiment is. Embodiment is when your nervous system has integrated an understanding so deeply that in moments of stress or trigger, you can stay present with yourself and choose a different response automatically without having to think about it. It's the difference between knowing something intellectually and actually living it in your body and your choices. And that's the problem, that people get stuck intellectualizing it.
Exactly. And before we dive deeper into the 4 stages and how to actually embody this, let's talk about what embodiment is not, because I think that's really important for people to understand.
Yeah, there's a key distinction because a lot of people use spiritual buzzwords, but they're not really embodying them. So let's take a time to look at some of these, what embodiment is not. So when people make declarations, they make them all the time. You hear it on social media. They talk about, I have boundaries. They're telling people they have boundaries. They're declaring them. I date intentionally. I know what I want in a partner. But declarations aren't embodiment. So if you're really embodied, you don't have to announce it. You're just living it. Claude?
Right. You know what you're looking for. You feel it in your body. And you don't need to declare it because you're already being that person and attracting that energy. You're living it, not performing it for social media or anyone else.
Like, let me give you an example using embodied boundaries, right? So the other day at a family event, I was called a hard ass. And I kind of just looked at them and I'm just like, no, I have boundaries. And I don't let people cross those boundaries. I don't compromise myself, so not for social pressure and not for anything else. They don't shift. They don't negotiate. They just are. That's embodied boundaries.
That's the difference between intellectual lie knowing you have boundaries and actually embodying them. Your boundaries are just there, consistent, held with no drama. People feel them because you're not wavering. You're not performing. You're just holding them whether someone likes it or not.
Exactly. I'm not using my boundaries as a weapon or for a tool for control. They're just healthy lines I hold every single day. I don't declare them. I live them. I practice them.
That's it exactly. Embodied boundaries aren't announced. They're just consistently there. People know not to cross them because you've already integrated them into how you show up every single day.
Now let's talk about the buzzword of intentional dating, declaring that they have intentional dating versus embodiment, right? So people say they're dating intentionally. I see this on social media all the time, but really they're dating multiple people to get to know them. That's not intentional. That's hedging your bets.
Embodied intentional dating means you're already in alignment with the person before you start dating them. You know what you're looking for, you can feel it, and you're with someone who matches that. You're not announcing it or performing it.
But I see it all the time on social media.
Right. People are constantly declaring it on social media. But that's not embodiment. That's performance. Real embodied intentional dating. You don't have to announce it because you're already living it. You're with someone aligned with you, and that's just how you're moving.
So you don't pretend to be somebody you're not, and you don't date people who don't align with you and your values, and you just don't date somebody to see where it goes or if it'll work out or not. And what is the
You
word?
don't date them hoping they'll change or grow into what you want.
Yes,
You're with
thank you.
someone who they actually are right now. That's embodied dating. You're not investing in potential. You're with someone who's already aligned with you.
Right. So let's talk about the intellectual awareness trap. And that's where most people get stuck. And now you can look at our visualization and see that's like the first graph there. And people say they know their patterns. If we look at this.
So looking at the visual, that's the left side where it shows intellectual awareness. People can explain their patterns beautifully. They understand their trauma history, their attachment style, their childhood wounds. They can talk about it for hours.
You're right. But then that's the same people that say, I've been healing for years and my life is not changing. Because self-awareness is just the first step in your healing journey. You've just cracked open a door. So let's understanding how to be embodied, right? So it's understanding becomes the lesson. The boundaries, we talked about boundaries, they aren't just understood, they're felt and they're applied. Your nervous system stays present with emotion. It doesn't get dysregulated. You don't get triggered and you stay in that healthy space, calm. Your mind is still going. You can still, you could get triggered, but you don't react to that trigger.
Right. So regulation isn't about not getting triggered. It's about staying present and conscious while you're triggered, instead of spiraling or shutting down. Your nervous system stays regulated, even though the activation is there.
So stage 3, because we're talking about the 4 stages of embodiment, is integration. So you are intentional with your actions. You're not just being aware of your patterns. You're staying calm. You're not reacting to them. You're integrating all the lessons you've learned along the way. This is where you can choose differently while you're activated. This is the part, it's not easy to feel calm, but you have to stay calm and choose a different path, choose different words. Integration is doing it in the moment when you're triggered.
And that's where real embodiment happens. You're not just thinking about choosing differently. You're actually doing it while your nervous system is activated. That's the hard part. And that's what separates intellectual understanding from embodied transformation.
Oh, I have been there. I have been where somebody is vomiting their wounds all over me, and I'm just listening to them. And this is, stage 4 is repetition. Over time, I just understood what it was. And my choice in that was to create a boundary between me and them, right? Like, yeah, I can hear you in the moment and I don't need to get triggered by what you're saying to me because it has nothing to do with me, really.
Exactly. And that's repetition. You've done that enough times, stayed present while someone else activated, not taken it on, held your boundary, that it's become automatic now. Your nervous system has collected evidence that you can stay regulated no matter what's coming at you.
Look, I just take a breath. I pause. I listen. I don't have to engage, I don't have to ever engage with that person ever again.
That's it. Pause, breath, listen, don't engage. That's the repetition cycle. And after you do it enough times, it becomes your default. You don't have to think about it anymore. That's embodiment.
Right. Nervous system capacity, not calm. And I want people to hear this. The goal was never to feel calm all the time. That's not realistic and it's not the point.
Right. The goal is nervous system capacity. Can you stay present, feel deeply, and recover quickly? That's what matters. It's not about avoiding activation or never getting upset. It's about your ability to come back to yourself no matter what you're experiencing.
And I will tell you, it took me some time to get here. And before I got here, I was going through, when you're shifting from self-awareness into this embodiment stage, there's a lot of inner turmoil, like when you're trying to change. So don't think there's something wrong or you're doing it wrong. There's no way to do something wrong. Every day, you just try to be the best version of yourself. Every day is an opportunity to start over, start fresh. And then one day, it's the repetition. It just becomes your daily life, like a habit, right? And you go from this discomfort, this turmoil, to actually living this practice. And that's what I want to close on. Everything, you hear people all the time, everything is not love and light. It's a good balance. There's a lot of inner turmoil. And this journey is always the journey within. It's nothing outside of you. People can give you tools. You can take the tools. You can take whatever works for you. And
the rest you leave behind.
Exactly.
Work. Nobody can do this but you. This is your internal journey, your nervous system, your choices, your repetition. That's embodiment.
So as I wrap this up, remember, healing is a lifestyle. It's something it's not something you declare or perform. It's something you live every single day. So you can screenshot the visual and refer back to it anytime. And if you want a deep dive on any other topics, you let me know. And I am sending love, light, and healing. Claude,
thanks so much for having me, Shauna. This was a really powerful conversation.
Yeah, I always like going back and forth with you, Claude.
I really enjoy it too, Shauna. You bring the realness and the depth. This episode came together beautifully.
Take care, everyone.